for real estate in the town of Lewisboro, and then they have to worry about getting passes for parking and so forth. When you have the capacity being reasonably close,
About a minute.
that's one that, reasonably close proximity to the Golden Bridge train station, I think there's a significant benefit to that, being able to walk, bike, or have a spouse, a child, or a parking kid. The shopping center offers a lot, but it needs to be enhanced. I met with the building manager here about a year ago and was able to propel him towards rehabilitating the sidewalks. He's done some work, I think, to the northwest corner, which is, I believe is unsightly. I want to meet with him again for purposes of seeing what his intention is to do with that shopping center. I do believe that shopping center does offer a lot. Our community is a special community because it's really a blend of different socioeconomic classes and different cultural classes. And I think that affords children who go to our school a wealth of opportunity. Cultural diversity, socioeconomic diversity, I think, as science shows us, really propels intellectual development, not only for kids, but for adults as well. That's my time.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Pavlov. Mr. LaSorsa?
Okay, hi. So my name is Greg LaSorsa. I am a 27-year resident of Goldens Bridge. I've raised 4 children here. Back in 2000, I got involved with the Lewisboro Baseball Association. I was the president of the Lewisboro Baseball Association, a volunteer organization very similar to Goldens Bridge Hamlet organization. And I ran that for 7 years. Concurrently, I was on the Parks and Rec Advisory Council during that time, about 8 years on that, and I obviously have a very strong interest in recreation in this town, and I think it's very important, and I think it's not getting the level of importance that it deserves, and we'll hopefully speak about that during the night. And currently, I have been on the planning board for the past 7 years, and I'm usually the one when you hear about those 4-to-1 decisions in the planning board. And being the one in the 4-to-1 decision, and noting that there are currently 5 Democrats on the very insular town board right now, I thought it was time for me to take the next step, and that is to run for the town board.
About a minute left.
And maybe bring some common sense approaches to the insular way that things are being done in this town. And maybe giving a little bit of a broader scope than what's going on right now. And in terms of the vision for Lewisboro and the vision for Goldens Bridge, I believe very strongly in Goldens Bridge. I love Goldens Bridge. I've lived here for 27 years. Goldens Bridge continually, habitually gets the wrong end of the stick in this town. And whether it comes to zoning changes to facilitate 42-unit developments, or zoning changes to facilitate multifamily dwellings, or other issues that involve problems that are put into Goldens Bridge, we need a voice. And we need someone who's going to stand up for Goldens Bridge and make Goldens Bridge the strong, vibrant, family-oriented community that it should be. And when for Lewisboro to be strong, Goldens Bridge has to be strong.
Mr. LaSorsa, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Welsh?
So I've been working on Goldens Bridge issues since very shortly after first joining the board back in 2008, and worked with a number of you here on trying to figure out where to go with the issues around traffic and pedestrian safety for many of those years. I was out there yesterday on the street with a bunch of people trying to figure out how to get from Fairmont to the intersection and put together a project to fix that. If you ask me about my vision for Goldens Bridge, I'd say, look up and down the train line. Look up these days, even in Croton Falls and down in Katona. That gives us a hint of the potential for Goldens Bridge, and I felt that for all my years on the board. That's why I spent probably more of my time working on Goldens Bridge than any other area of the town. So I believe there's huge potential there, and I've worked to put grants in. I put a couple of grants in for
1 minute.
downtown Goldens Bridge. They did not get accepted. The supervisor put in a couple, At this point, I'm gonna be proposing to the board that we go ahead and try to spark some changes by actually funding it ourselves and bond for some of the infrastructure needs. I think we've been waiting for long enough for this. The DOT is not gonna fund these things out of the goodness of their heart, and unfortunately, when they do the pedestrian counts and the traffic counts, we don't measure up. There's just not that many people at a given intersection. And yet, we deserve to have better infrastructure in downtown Golden Bridge. I think that's gonna be the key to bringing the kind of positive changes that people are looking for. So I believe that the potential is great, and I'm looking forward to continuing to work with everybody on it.
Gentlemen, thank you for that first question. And again, that was from, that was a question that we had generated, the GBHO had generated. So the first question from the public, so I'll address this to all three of you, but we're going to start now with Mr. LaSorsa. So the order will be Mr. LaSorsa, Mr. Welsh, and then to Mr. Papalardo. So the first question from the audience is, can you speak to the town's exclusive TV cable contract and when and if that arrangement can be opened up to competitive companies? I'll say that again. Let's speak a little quickly. Can you speak to the town's exclusive TV cable contract and when and if that agreement can be opened up to competitive companies?
The town's cable contract is what it is. I believe it's with Optimum, or they're under their new ownership. I believe it should be opened up to competitive contracting, and if we could have, if it's possible with the cabling to have new or additional companies come in and coexist, then I would be in favor of that.
Okay. Mr. Welsh?
So I think we're characterizing it as an exclusive contract. I mean, people have been trying to encourage Verizon to come in and offer Fios on a more systemic basis for a long time, and with not tremendous success. We should continue to try to pressure them. So therefore, the only thing left is the Altice arrangement. The town does receive some revenue from that, just as every municipality in Westchester that has Altice or Optimum has a cable TV fee that they receive. But it's something that I think we should continue to push for. Hopefully in the future there'll be more options. I'd love to see, personally I'd love to see us, while we're doing the infrastructure, lay down some fiber, and then perhaps leave ourselves the potential for even municipal-based service and free ourselves from this and open up a lot more competition that way. That would be kind of a an out there proposition, but there are municipalities that are doing that, and that would give you a lot more bandwidth and perhaps give you something special to compete with other municipalities in terms of having things to offer for people who are moving in and the new workforce that likes to work from home, et cetera, et cetera. So it's definitely an area to continue to work on.
We have a fiduciary obligation to get competing contracts and make sure that we're providing the quintessential service that we're obligated to provide to the town at the most competitive price. So to the extent that the question is, should we go out and seek competitive bills for any of our contractors and any of the services that even indirectly or directly we're responsible for providing? Absolutely, we have to do it, and I view that as a fiduciary obligation. We're the gatekeeper of taxpayer money, and we need to spend it very, very wisely. Lewisboro is becoming slightly more desirable relative to attracting carriers to us. We're in the process, I think as everybody knows, installing a cell tower over by the Lewisboro Volunteer Ambulance Corps. As part of that, to Dan's point, we were able to negotiate at no cost to the town that cables be inserted and buried under the ground that run to the Lewisboro Volunteer Ambulance Corps, which will certainly enhance our emergency services, capacity to engage in emergency services at that location. need to compete, we have it under obligation to compete. I think that we're now more desirable by virtue of the fact that we're bringing in a new cell tower, which I believe as we speak is being constructed.
Thank you. Okay, the next question. What proposals do you have to improve the quality of life in Golden's Bridge? So we're going to start with Mr. Welch, then to Mr. Pappalardo, and then we'll finish with Mr. LaSorsa. So again, the question is, what proposals do you have to improve the quality of life in Golden's Bridge?
So again, I would start right away with infrastructure, and through my solicitation of the county some years back, we did a complete streets workshop, and there's a study document that's the product of that work, and the community engagement, and all that on the streets, and we had expert consultants working with us to develop the kinds of changes that would be needed to enhance safety and make for a much more vibrant community by virtue of the fact that people can move around across the streets without having their lives threatened by doing so. So that would be a start, and I would do that no matter what else happens. Further than that, I would say we're really looking forward to opening up the master plan process, because we certainly need community input to help vision where we're going. On that count, some years ago, I organized myself a little visioning session in the community house, and brought people in, and we were posting things up on the wall, trying to stimulate people to start thinking about that. So I think it really, it's on the community really to bring together the inputs. I think we all envision this as kind of a nice hamlet that's functional. It's not going to be Katona or Crook Falls, but it's going to have a lot of the amenities and the pleasant atmosphere that you're looking for in a little hamlet. So, as I say, I'm going to be pushing for some of the infrastructure fixes down at the intersection there in the near term, and then look towards the master plan work to bring the rest of the community in to try and fix where we want to go. And in that process, I'd like to see us take it not just to the general plan stage, but maybe do a hamlet-specific,
About a minute left.
what they call a generic environmental statement, which means we're going to sit down and we're going to try to hammer this out in another deeper level of specifics, and have that environmental statement done so that we can then solicit developers to come in, and they'll be bidding on executing according to our plan, rather than just saying, here's a zone, go nuts. That way we'll have a little more control over what goes in there. So I think there's opportunities to take the tools we have in hand and really try to realize the kind of vision that will come out of the community sessions. So looking forward to that.
Mr. Pappalardo?
It's easy for people in the political environment to speak to all the wonderful things that we all would genuinely like to do. But the truth of the matter is that you need resources. And we live in a community that, at least at the school level, is overtaxed. And under the new federal legislation, under the new tax act, with the reduction in the SALT deduction of property values is being impacted. And one of our major sources of revenue, namely the mortgage tax, is also for the town, is also being impacted. So, how do we raise resources? Because then we can back into doing wonderful things for the town. We need a master plan. I've advocated that each hamlet, and Golden's Bridge has been wonderful in this regard, form an organization and give us a wish list in terms of how they would view the prospect of enhancing their individual hamlet, but of equal importance, not isolating each individual hamlet, so there's a level of continuity because we are one community. Why do we need a master plan? Because once you have a master plan, you elevate the prospect of being able to get grant money, whether it be from the state, the county, or the federal government. Once you can show them that you have a plan that's moving in the right direction, you enhance the possibility of securing the resources to do all of these wonderful things that we want to do. So we can't discount the fact that if you're gonna be fiscally prudent in your approach to managing taxes in this town, and that is my approach, and we have to find other avenues and vehicles for resources. What would I like to do specific to Golden's Bridge? I think Dan has pointed out some excellent points. We need bike paths, we need pedestrian paths, we need to clean up that shopping center. One of the things that we're hoping to get out of the Wild Walter project is $50,000. Not a ton of money, but maybe enough money to start a community garden off of Fairmont or a playground for children. We have resources in Golden's Bridge, and if we build around it, we can really enhance our community. But we need the money to get it. Is that my 1 minute?
No, sorry, unfortunately, no. You have 1 minute, sorry,
Okay.
went to sleep.
Don't discount the use of volunteers. Through the Lewisboro Land Trust, and through other volunteers, when I was president of the Lions Club, I started a Leo's group. I grew it to about 100 kids, and through those volunteers, through the Lewisboro Land Trust, through some of our committees in town, we've gone out and cleaned up one of our major natural resources, namely our preserves. We've gone in, we've crafted paths, we've revitalized them. So I would like to continue to preserve our preserves. We can hopefully continue to do that through volunteers. So infrastructure, bike paths, pedestrian walkways, have to clean up that shopping center. And I think those things, if we can find the resources, and we need to start with the master plan to be able to do that, I believe will enable us to do some of it.
Thank you, Mr. Pappalardo. Mr. LaSorsa?
So I've listened to these two gentlemen who've been on the town board for at least the past 8 years tell us about what they're going to do for Lewisboro, and I'm wondering, why haven't you done it already? And I know that Mr. Welsh has talked about putting in some of these things he's proposing. He's been talking about that for 8 years. I haven't seen a thing done. He mentioned something about finally now, after realizing that he's not going to get the money to do some of the things that the Department of Transportation has refused to give them the money, so now they're going to bond some of their projects. Well, that could have been done years ago, all right? And that was suggested years ago by some of the Republican members on the board, and it was rejected, all right? So to the best of my knowledge, anything that he's suggesting right now should have been done already and could have been done already. As far as as far as both of the gentlemen mentioning the master plan, there is a master plan. Now, granted, it was initiated in 1980, okay, but there is a master plan. This current board is running roughshod over this master plan, and they're dumping their problems into Golden's Bridge. Case in point, they're running out of money. They need to make a quick sale of the Golden's Bridge Community House for $500,000, and they need to make that this year. So what do they want to do? They want to change the zoning. Contrary to the master plan, they want to change the zoning of Old Bedford Road to allow multiple family homes to go on there, and there are at least 10 parcels on Old Bedford Road that could be converted to multiple family homes. This board is 5-0 in lockstep in favor of that. Okay, that's not in support of our master plan. Our master plan talks about the beautiful residential character of this community. So if we want to talk about the master plan, let's not change it piecemeal with this ad hoc zoning that's been going on, going back to almost the manner in which the Wilder Walter project was initiated. Let's not do that, and let's get real about the master plan. I went to the last meeting on September 23rd, and I was told the master plan's too expensive to review. And I think they were talking about something in the neighborhood of $200,000 or $300,000. So I don't know what these two gentlemen are talking about. If there's a refusal on the part of the board to pay $200,000 or $300,000 to review this master plan, and it seems like that's lip service, because all they really want to do is dump their problems into Golden's Bridge. Now, in terms of my plan for Golden's Bridge in the community, I do have a recreational background, and I was the leader of the Lewisboro Baseball Association for 7 years. In 2010, we were able to renovate the field, change the whole configuration of the field, put in a stairway from the bottom of the field up the hill to the press box, renovate the field for handicapped use, and we did that in 4 weeks. Okay, so that's what I can do. All right, and I've heard these gentlemen talk about what they want to do. I think you should look to people who've delivered proven abilities and have been able to carry through on what they can do. So my plan for Golden's Bridge is to enhance our recreational facilities. We've got a beautiful facility at Fox Valley Park. We can do a lot of things there. We can bring people into this community. And when you bring people into the community, You can get them to spend money in the community. You bring a soccer tournament or a baseball tournament at Fox Valley Park. You used to have coffee and car